And who else to give us a third wish for the future? He's he's an author as well. He's someone that has always advocated for updating the Agile Manifesto, and we think he's the best person to talk about, to give a wish for the future. So join me in welcoming Cliff Berg to give us a wish for the future. Cliff, let's have you.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Carla. I thought the futuristic background would be appropriate. I've been around in the Agile community for a long time, and I just wanted to say, kind of give us a shout out to Scott, because in the very early days, and I mean Scott Ambler as well as Scott Sebright, in the early days of Agile, I was CTO of an organization, and it fell to me to make sure that what we built and delivered really worked. And I reached out to Scott Ambler because I found that a lot of his writing was very grounded. And he was also worried about innovation, but also making sure that things worked. And I think that a lot of his ideas from then have stood the test of time. So I see Scott Ambler as not only the past, but also the future. Because a lot of his ideas have actually found their way into Agile too, which we would like to present as some ideas to consider for the future. In terms of what I wish for this festival, in the third theme of this event, Lisa Cooney is going to give a talk about Agile 2 and why we think those ideas are important. And our belief is that Agile 2 is important for the future of Agile. And in fact, when we launched Agile 2, part of the reason why we put Agile 2 together after the pandemic started was because there were some signs that there was a lot of fragmentation of the Agile community and these frameworks, and it seemed to be a lot of tribalism and competition. And it seems that some ideas had split, like the DevOps community had split from the Agile community, which to me is completely bizarre. To me, they should be part of the same thing. And so we were worried. We were worried that Agile might actually become displaced by DevOps, because what happens is organizations create teams and they have to decide, what is the composition of those teams, and do those teams need leadership in some way? And they usually put Scrum Masters in the role of a facilitative leadership for teams. But it's becoming increasingly clear today that for technical teams, any kind of team leadership needs to understand the work, which today increasingly is DevOps oriented. And so we were worried that organizations would start just putting DevOps people in charge of teams and kind of forget about Agile. And that was part of the thinking when we launched Agile 2, was to try to bring them back together. But in figuring that out, we had to ask the question, what's Agile? And I'll get to what my wish is in a moment. Just bear with me for a second, you'll see where this is going. So what's Agile? And you get markedly different answers about what Agile is depending on who you talk to. And, for example, there's an experienced Agile coach who I talk to regularly through LinkedIn and debate with. And he claims that DevOps is just a natural evolution of extreme programming. And I personally disagree with that. I see them as very different. But to him, it's a continuity. And really, we should see it in terms of a continuity. Even though they are very different, they are ends of a continuum. And, I think we really need to bring it back together. We need to break down these silos. We cannot have silos. We cannot have blinders about, I work on the business things, or I work on the process things, or I work on the technical things. Agile is supposed to be about not handoffs. It's supposed to be about everybody collaborating and trying to figure out how can we create the best value delivery stream and the best customer-facing value stream. So to do that, you have to understand the whole flow. You cannot just understand your part of it. You don't have to be an expert in it. You don't have to be someone who could build something or who could design something, necessarily, but you have to understand the big picture of how it all works. Otherwise, you cannot be in discussions about the whole big picture and be able to provide guidance, to organizations about how to be agile holistically. You have to understand every aspect. And so my wish for this event, is that, there's 600 600 events. My wish is that people will leave their comfort zone and use this as an opportunity. What Scott and you, Grace, and Jorge and others have done in South Paul, you've done an amazing job putting together a fantastic, fantastic event. It's staggering what you've done in this short period of time. This is a huge opportunity for people. Go out of your comfort zone. My wish is that people will leave their comfort zone. Don't attend events about things you already know about. Attend events about things you know nothing about. And if you're confused about something, take some notes and make a note to ask questions and try to find out a little more about that. I hope that people will go out of their comfort zone. That's my wish.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Everyone, round of applause.